to my channel and a very special welcome if you're new here. My name is Jen. I'm a certified weight loss and nutrition coach, and today is Monday, so it's meal prep day. I have 3 amazing recipes for you: breakfast, lunch, and a sweet treat. And I'm using a brand new flavor of the Sapriva flavor powder in today's meal prep. I've shared this with you a couple times. I have the vanilla chocolate, and I just got the butter biscuit. We're going to use this as part of our dessert sweet treat recipe in place of sugar. This is an absolutely incredible product that can easily replace sugar for 3 to 4 calories per serving. And it gives you the sweetness of 25 grams of sugar, which is about 100 calories. And a serving of Sapriva flavor powder is 3 to 4 calories. With the butter biscuit, it's going to add a good creaminess and butteriness to our dessert. It's really the perfect way to satisfy a sweet tooth while staying on track. I mix it into not that Greek yogurt, oatmeal. You can bake with it. It is absolutely fantastic. I've even put it in a smoothie and a protein shake. You can pick it up right off of Amazon. I will link it down below for you. I'm really excited to have the other flavor of the Sapriva flavor powder. And again, this is in butter biscuit. So let's get started on this week's meal prep. For my breakfast this week, I'm making a cottage cheese egg bake frittata. I'm going to pair this with some fruit. So let me show you what you'll need. So you're going to need salt and pepper, cottage cheese, eggs. I'm using reduced fat, sharp cheddar cheese, bacon or turkey bacon, and some green onions. So the first thing I'm going to do is crack 12 eggs into my blender. And then we're adding in 1 cup of cottage cheese. And then we're adding in some salt and pepper. And then if you're using cayenne pepper, you can add that too. I am not using cayenne pepper. That is too spicy for me. So I'm just gonna do some salt and some pepper. And we're just going to blend this up until smooth. We're going to spray a 9x13 baking dish with some nonstick cooking spray. And then we're going to add the egg mixture. And then we're sprinkling 1 cup of reduced fat sharp cheddar cheese on top. And then our 4 slices of bacon or turkey bacon. And then our green onions. Then we're popping this into a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes. Just be really careful when you move it into the oven not to get the toppings all mixed in. The frittata is out of the oven, looks and smells absolutely delicious. I'll go ahead and put all the information here on the screen for you. For my lunch this week, I'm making crispy ground beef tacos. I'm going to top these with some fresh avocado, some sour cream, some salsa. Super simple recipe. Let me show you what you'll need. So you're going to need Monterey Jack or some type of Mexican blend cheese, taco seasoning, enchilada sauce, a pound of ground beef, and some corn tortillas. So the first thing we are going to do is brown our pound of ground beef. Then we're adding in our enchilada sauce and our taco seasoning. And then we're going to stir that in, let this simmer for just a minute or so, and then remove it from the heat. So to make our tacos, we're going to spray 1 side of the corn tortilla with nonstick cooking spray. We're going to place that side down on the baking sheet. Add a little bit of cheese to 1/2 of the corn tortilla. We're adding our taco mixture, and then we're gonna top it with a little bit more cheese, and then we're folding that over, basically forming that taco and keeping that on the baking sheet. And then we're repeating that until our meat mixture is gone. Our tacos are going into the oven for about 15 minutes or until they are nice and crispy. Crispy tacos are out of the oven. Ooh, these smell and look amazing. They're nice and crispy like a hard shell taco. I'll put all the information here on the screen for you. For a fall-inspired treat this week, dessert, I'm making cinnamon swirl pumpkin bread, and I'm very excited for this. It's our first little fall recipe of the season. So I'm going to use this pumpkin spice everything nice seasoning. I actually got this at TJ Maxx. It's 0 calories. It does call for a cinnamon sugar blend, and this is going to be Perfect. Then you know I've shared the Sapriva flavor powder before, the vanilla and the chocolate. Well, I have the butter biscuit, and I'm going to use this in place of any sugar in the recipe. It's a great sugar alternative, adds the perfect sweetness, and with the butter biscuit flavor, it's going to add a little bit of butteriness to the bread. Absolute perfection. Sucin Gold, which is my brown sugar substitute, unsweetened applesauce in place of oil, flour. I'm using apple pie spice just because I like this a little bit better than pumpkin spice. It has a little more of the spiciness. 1 egg, some canned pumpkin, salt, vanilla extract, baking powder, and baking soda. So to get started on the bread, I'm cracking 1 egg into my bowl. I'm going to do 2 scoops of the flavor powder just because the recipe itself calls for half of a cup of sugar. So this will replace all of the sugar in the recipe. We've got a 1/4 cup of unsweetened applesauce, half of a cup of canned pumpkin, 1/4 cup of Sucin Gold, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then we're just going to stir all of that together. I love the Sapriva flavor powder because it replaces sugar for very, very minimal calories. And like I said, this one's going to give it a nice buttery flavor. Now we're adding in 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour, 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 of a teaspoon of baking powder. Our pumpkin pie spice, and a pinch of salt. And then we're going to mix together. You can make mini loaves, that's what the recipe is, but I'm going to make just a full-size loaf. So we're going to add our pumpkin bread cinnamon swirl mixture to the baking dish. We're taking our pumpkin spice mixture or your cinnamon sugar mixture, sprinkling that on top, and then using a knife or a toothpick, we're just gonna kind of swirl that into the bread batter. And then it's going into a 350-degree oven for 20 to 25 minutes or until the bread is cooked through. Pumpkin swirl bread is out of the oven. My house smells like a fall dream. It smells amazing in here. This looks so good. I will put all the information here on the screen for you. Thank you for joining me for this week's meal prep. I hope you enjoyed seeing breakfast, lunch, and an amazing fall-inspired dessert using this Sapriva flavor powder and butter biscuit. Again, this is right off of Amazon. I will have it linked down below for you. All of today's recipes are on my website. That will also be in the description box along with the flavor powder. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.